Hello and welcome to the Group 1 preview for Derby Day, and we may as well throw in the Golden Eagle as well for Top Sport. Feel the excitement. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly. It is Christmas, and I love Christmas. I'm joined, as always, by Xavier Pegum. Pegs, how are we feeling ahead of the weekend?
I'm the elf, and it is Christmas.
You aren't that tall, so that makes sense. Anyway, we have 4 races to cover today. Really set me up for that one. We're going to start off at Flemington. We'll finish off with the Golden Rose. So you know what? We're just going to hit this one in racebook order for Top Sport. Of course, feel the excitement with Top Sport. Bet with them this spring. All right, the Coolmore Stakes is the first race we are going to look at. It is the Blue Ribbon event for the 3-year-olds. Of course, it is a stallion-making race. If you are to win this, you are worth a hell of a lot of money. Your favourite currently is Growing Empire, $3.40, $4 for Traffic Warden, $6 Switzerland, $8 Lady of Camelot, and we've got $11 for your girlfriend. She may need a restraining order, Bellatrix Star.
I know, I love this girl.
All right, how are we looking at this race? This is fascinating.
Yeah, so I think you and I are pretty similar with this one.
Yep.
I've got Switzerland on top, Bellatrix Star second, as per usual. I know people are a bit shocked that I might not tip Bellatrix Star on top. Traffic Warden, Growing Empire. Switzerland and the Roman Consul, like that turn of foot was just absolutely electric.
Yep.
He's got to be somewhere on top. Bellatrix Star, she's obviously going to be in my top 3. 3 wins on the bounce. She's proven herself multiple group level now. It's time she steps up to Group 1. I think we can all agree with that.
Yep.
Traffic Warden, very unlucky with the Everest, but we won't talk about the war.
Jump out was good.
Yeah. He was a bees you-know-what away from beating Broadsiding in the last start. In the Golden Rose, has every opportunity to win this Saturday. Growing Empire, the Everest, Manicato, all great runs to sort of go off. I think the form really speaks for itself for this.
Yeah, we have the same top 4, slightly different order. I got Switzerland on top. I like that he's been set for this race ever since that mishap in the run of the Rose where everything that possibly could go wrong did go wrong. Had a good trial, came out and spanked him in the Roman Consul and then just jogged in behind him in a jump out last week. He's ready to go. Chris Waller knows what it takes to win this with a colt, and a colt trained by Coolmore, no less. So I think he can get the job done. Just like you, I got Traffic Warden in there as well. I reckon he would have gone close to winning the Everest if he ran in the race. Obviously didn't, was scratched at the gate. Again, quiet jump out last week. He's set to go. Growing Empire. There's no in between with Growing Empire. He explodes in this race, or he's had enough and he's, ready for the paddock. It's Kieran Ma, so I'm not doubting the stable given how well they can get these horses to recover. And of course, Bellatrix Star in for 4th. You win a Group 2 against the older horses at your previous start, you've got to be a chance in for this one. So that is a good race. I know I've got a lot of the favourites up the top of the market there, but it is so deep, this race. Like Bitter Creek won really well last week. Coleman's a runner-up in the Golden Slipper. Lady of Camelot ran 4th in the Everest. Gallant Sun looks a nice horse. And as you got Yoshinobu and Gatsby's in there too. So great race. Can't wait. Race number 7, Victoria Derby, the other end for the 3-year-olds, 2,500 metres. Your favourite, El Castello, drew 18. Yuck, $3.40. Red Ace is $6.50. Keeneland, $8.50. $7 for King of Thunder. And that is it under double figures. $14 for China Sea is your next best. I'll start off with this. If he gets luck in the run, El Castello will make an absolute mess of them. $3.40 is great betting. You're just basically betting on him having the luck in the race here. I don't think these Melbourne horses are much good. He absolutely trotted up last weekend in the Spring Champion Stakes. Henley looked to have him cold, and he kicked back, won well. 2,500 for this son of Castelvecchio. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. Gets an economical run. He will get the job done here. I got King of Thunder in next. I like him on the backup out of the Vars last week. Didn't have the best of luck. Got stuck on the fence. James McDonald looked to have a ton of horse under him. Just didn't get the luck when he needed it. The money was there for him too to get the job done in that event as well. In for 3rd, I've got China Sea, who I think's going quite well, stepping up to the 2,500. It is John Sargent. I'm just throwing the John Sargent horse in there, but does have Mark Zara and got beaten a bees. You know what, as you said earlier, over in the Norman Robinson behind King of Wall Street. I'm throwing Gold Rush Guru in for 4th. Got the job done in that listed race well over in South Australia. The Hill Smith won that well, was evens into $1.55 and spanked them. Andrew Lewis knows what it takes to win this, and you've got an American Pharaoh Colt out of a Medagliadoro mare with Jamie Carr on board. It'll run the trip. I reckon it can run a good race.
Yeah, so I'll just go through my 4 selections. King of Wall Street, El Castello, Red Aces, St. Emilion. King of Wall Street, I think, is an absolute fantastic horse, son of Dundeel. One only qualm with him is that he doesn't really have the turn of foot, so he's going to have to position himself really nicely coming down that straight. In saying that, he does absolutely stay for days. El Castello, you've basically explained it. We'll move on from there. Red Aces, he was super and he was very gritty at the Valley on Cox Plate Day. However, my only issue is whether he can stretch to the 2,500 metres. Incredibly tough horse nonetheless. St. Emilion from the Kieran Maher stable. Very strong over 2,200 metres at Geelong last week in the 3-year-old listed race. He's got a brilliant turn of foot. He'll have no issues with distance.
Yep, I like it. All right, let's move on to the next one. It is the Empire Rose Stakes, the last of the Group 1s at Flemington. 1,600 metres for the fillies and mares. Really disappointing to not see a 3-year-old filly have a crack here. You get in with basically 49 kilos. Have a crack. Anyway, the top of the market here is no shock to anyone. With a tissue, $4.40, a Millie's Jewel, $5, a Kestrel, $7. I think that's unders given the way she performed last start. Plenty of ammo down the bottom, $7. She was good when winning last week at the Valley. I'll kick it off once again here. Got a Millie's Jewel on top. I like the form coming out of the good King Charlie last start behind Chow Wolf and Pride of Jenny. Beaten 3.5 lengths there, but looks like she's been building towards something. 1,600 metres, fourth up, comes out of a race with Pride of Jenny setting up the pace there. I like it. I like that they avoided the Cox Plate. They've come to this race instead. She's a winner at the track before. She won first up this time last year here over 1,400 metres in the Let's Lap. I like her. A tissue I've got in next. I thought she was fantastic from the position she was in the Caulfield Stakes, just too far back, as we know. Deny Knowledge led them a merry dance and won really well. She's got a really good Flemington record as well. 3 wins from 8 starts. I'd like to know if she's going to back up next week as well in the Champions Stakes after winning it last year.
Yeah.
Don't know if she will, given, Via Sustain is going to be there. In next is Alsafina, number 7. Look, she's been building towards something really well. Also, she was good in the Stock Stakes when winning it. Blake Shin gave her a peach that day. Was good behind Antino in the Toorak. That Antino form looks pretty hot because it all ties in Pride of Jenny, Mr. Brightside, and Nutrition. All of them have run absolute bottling races out of it. 1,600 metres at no issue. 5 starts at the distance for 3 wins and a couple of placings. Like, she's a great odds currently at $10, $3 the place with Top Spot. And I'm throwing in Kamochi. In next, number 6. She comes out of the Silver Eagle last start. She gets Huey Bowman flying in for the weekend from Barrier 1. Do not think Bowman's just going to have her in a perfect spot just behind the leaders. Step up the 1,600. Some might go, oh, that's a bit risky. She did run the third in a Coolmore last preparation. The Coolmore for the fillies and mares that's run in Rosehill during the autumn. So 1,600, no issues. Bowman will put her to sleep, and he knows what it takes to win one of these races, and she's $11.
Yeah, I've got Amelia's Jewel on top. I simply think she's the best horse in this race. I actually think she's much better than a tissue, despite I'm going to say I think she's a much classier horse than a tissue. Next on top, I've got Orchestral, proven Group 1 winner in both New Zealand and Australia. Definitely a decent each way bet in this race. I'd say moving forward, she's probably just going to need a bit more distance than a mile. I've got Kamochi coming up next from the Gary Patelli stable. Just like yourself, there's plenty of speed in this race, which we know is going to be odds on. Question mark is going to revolve around where she is sort of in that last 200 metres. And yeah, a Tissue's Flemington form, I think, speaks for itself.
Yeah, all right, let's get across to Rosehill. We've got the Golden Eagle going on there, of course, for the 4-year-olds over 1,500 metres. A few horses in this wouldn't look out of place in a race like the Empire Rose or maybe even the Cox Plate last week, but that's another rant for another day. Now, this barrier draw is done on Tuesday night, so plenty going on in the market. We'll start off at the top. Tom Kitten's $12 into $9. NCAP $25 to $18. You've got Lazat, who's over here. It is $6 to $7.50, back to $5.50. Steffi Magnetic has been the mover. $15 into the $9.50 since the barrier draw. I can tell you that trainer Bjorn Baker, very confident given the barrier she's drawn with Steffi. Jolly Star's your favourite. It's $5. Then you've got Ascoli Paceno in next, but has been $3.50 to $5 since drawing barrier 17. It made effort to come via Ridges in the home straight. That is the market moves for the Golden Eagle. They are going to go 1,000,000 miles an hour in this event. I'm going with one of the imports. I'm going with Lazat.
Okay.
Unbeaten gelding by Territories coming out here. 6 for 6 and has looked good in every single start. And I do love that the trainer put on the, out in the open world earlier in the year, probably would have been April or June, going, yeah, Golden Eagle, we're a gelding. We can't run in some of the Group 1s, but we have all the money in the world to go to Rosehill. There's 10 million reasons why we're going to turn up there and have a crack. I do love his racing style. He can put himself on the speed, behind the speed, and he's winning by margins. You look at it, 6 lengths, 5 lengths, 3 lengths at his most recent start in a Group 1 at Deauville. 1,500 is going to be no issue whatsoever. He had one run over 1,500 metres. That was at the start of the year. He won by 5 lengths. His form is on wet tracks, though. That is my only
I was just about to
knock.
ask you how he was going to handle the dry surface.
A rock hard Rose Hill is my only concern, but they would have known coming here that he's going to run on like very firm ground. So the fact that he's out here.
He's had gallops now.
Yep. I reckon he's ready to go. I like him. Barrier 12, a little bit sticky, but maybe sitting in that 3-wide running line with a bit of cover, he can get the job done. And as said, he's currently $5.50, $7.50 to $5.50. So a bit of early shopping there. I've got Ascoli Paceno in next. Until she drew that gate, I thought she would just turn up and get the job done. Look, she was second in the NHK Mile Cup when probably should have won there. She was an absolutely dominant winner of the Juveniles Fillies Stakes in December of last year. Her form in the 1,000 guineas for the fillies as well is just absolutely phenomenal. Ready to go here. She jogged in first up at Nakayama in a Group 3. She's been set for this for a long time now. With a bit of luck, she's going to go very close to winning this race, and you're probably going to get a better price given she drifted. Ostraka in for next, number 4, given just the form that he's in at the moment. How can you knock him? He just turns up, he keeps winning. He's 20 to 1 at the moment, $21 and $5 with Top Sport. He can sit behind them, he can go forward. He's just tactically versatile, so you've got to have him in there. I'm throwing Jolly Star in next. She is currently a favourite. Barrier 11 for me is a bit sticky, and I just don't like the way that they've trained her this preparation. She was dominant first up. Then she was average in the Shirako. It was okay in the Everest, and J-Mac's like, yeah, she got outsped. Well, duh, she's a 1,000 guineas winner. She's a miler. Finally gets to it, but it's an often Everest. I just don't like the prep.
Yeah, no, so much speed in that Everest, and that just would have completely thrown her around. But despite that, I've got her on top.
Yep.
It wasn't amazing in the Everest, but this is just a completely different race. She is a miler, and I think she's going to prove that this Saturday. I've got Craig next up. No one gave him much of a chance in the Toorak, but he was absolutely brilliant coming second. I think he's probably the best value in this race, in my opinion. Steffi Magnetica next, given a winter form over 1,400 metres. It's pretty hard to knock this mare.
Yep.
Everest run just shows she just needs a bit more distance. I don't think there was much point placing her in the Everest. And I've got Ostraka, 3 wins on the go. Just like you said, form speaks for itself. However, steps up with much more quality company for what is not technically a Group 1, but it's a Group 1 in my opinion.
It's a great race.
It's a great race.
It
and
should
there's,
be Group 1.
Great international talent and actual domestic Group 1 talent as well.
What a great race. All right, that has been the Group 1 preview for our friends at Top Sport. Feel the excitement. Make sure you're betting with Top Sport this weekend. We will catch you next week for the Group 1 preview for Top Sport.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.